Welcome to Mythic Lore. Let's get started. When it opened its jaws, the sound was like thunder rolling through stone. Its roar echoed across the mountains of Nemea, shaking the trees and sending flocks of birds screaming into the sky. Its fur shimmered like molten gold under the fading sun, and its eyes burned with something far older than rage, hunger. The Nemean Lion had come out to hunt. No mortal dared face it. Arrows snapped against its hide like twigs, spears shattered. Warriors disappeared into the forests of Nemea and never came back. Villagers whispered that the lion was no ordinary beast, that it had fallen from the heavens, sent by Hera herself as punishment to mankind. And as it turned out, that wasn't far from the truth. Long before the age of heroes ended, Hera, queen of the gods, had a bit of a vendetta against one man, Heracles, the strongest of mortals. Born of Zeus's infidelity, Heracles was a walking reminder of everything Hera hated. So, naturally, she decided to make his life as miserable as possible. Heracles was famous for his strength, but even he wasn't ready for what was coming. When he was sentenced to perform 12 impossible tasks, the 12 labors, the first on the list was simple in words, but not in reality. Slay the Nemean Lion. Now Heracles had fought plenty of things before. Centaurs, soldiers, even the occasional divine tantrum. But this was something new. The lion wasn't just big, it was invulnerable. Its golden fur could not be pierced by sword, arrow, or spear. It was, quite literally, unkillable. Still, Heracles, being Heracles, shrugged, grabbed his club, and marched off to Nemea like he was going grocery shopping. When he arrived, he found the forests eerily silent. Not even birds dared to sing. The air smelled of smoke and iron, the scent of fear itself. And then, in the distance, came a low growl. The ground trembled, trees swayed, and out of the shadows stepped the lion. Its mane rippled like a crown of sunlight, its fangs the size of daggers. It looked at Heracles as though he were already dinner. Heracles drew his bow, fired, and the arrow bounced off the lion's forehead with a pathetic clink. He frowned, fired again. Another clink. Finally, he muttered something along the lines of, "All right then, plan B." The lion, clearly unimpressed, let out a roar so loud it shook the valley. Heracles dropped his bow, grabbed his massive wooden club, and charged. The club came down like a falling tree and shattered. The lion didn't even flinch. It just blinked, slowly. Now, at this point, most people would have taken the hint and gone home. Heracles, however, was not most people. Instead, he followed the lion back to its lair, a dark cave with 2 entrances. Inside, the ground was littered with bones, and the stench of death hung thick in the air. Heracles crouched outside, thinking. Then he smiled, that dangerous, "I have a stupid idea" kind of smile. He rolled a few boulders into place and blocked one of the exits. The lion, realizing it was trapped, turned to face him. The two stared at each other. Man versus monster, mortal versus myth. And then they lunged. The battle was brutal. The lion's claws tore through Heracles' cloak, leaving deep gashes across his arms. Heracles grappled the creature, muscles straining, every vein in his body burning with effort. The lion bit, roared, and struggled. But Heracles didn't let go. He wrapped his arms around its throat and squeezed. The air filled with the sound of claws scraping stone, the growls growing weaker and weaker, until finally, there was silence. The Nemean lion was dead. For a long moment, Heracles just sat there breathing heavily, covered in blood and dirt. He'd done it. The impossible. Then he tried to skin the lion, and immediately realized he had a problem. His knife broke on the hide, his sword bent. Nothing worked. After several minutes of frustrated muttering, Heracles did the only logical thing. He used the lion's own claws to skin it, because of course he did. He wore the hide over his shoulders, the lion's head forming a helmet that fit perfectly around his own. From that day forward, Heracles became known for his lion cloak, a symbol of strength and defiance, proof that even the impossible could be defeated with enough stubbornness and muscle. But the Nemean lion was more than just a monster. To the Greeks, it represented something deeper. The idea that nature itself can be cruel, that even the bravest warriors must face beasts they cannot wound with weapons. Sometimes, the only way to overcome them is to change your approach, to use wit, not just strength. In some tellings, the lion spirit became a constellation in the night sky, Leo, placed there by Zeus to honor its might. Even the gods, it seems, respected the creature's power. And honestly, fair enough. If I were a fireproof, weapon-proof golden lion, I'd want to be remembered too. Preferably in a constellation that people mispronounce during astrology readings. The Nemean lion wasn't just a monster. It was a test. A challenge designed to prove that true heroism isn't about brute force. It is about perseverance, creativity, and refusing to quit when everything around you says you should. So the next time life throws something impossible your way, remember Heracles and his golden lion. Remember that even when your weapons fail, your will might not. If you've walked this far into the shadows of legend, leave your mark. Like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, which myth should we awaken next?